Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Q&A show on Inside the Birds platform. We are celebrating a Birds victory down in a tough place to play in New Orleans, 15-12. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason Avant, and I'm here with my main man, Quintin Mikell. Q, say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back. Another week, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be back. It's even better blessing celebrating the win. So yeah, man, let's get into it. I'm excited.
Yeah, before we get all the way into it, we want to thank all the fans that are tuning in, everybody that's sending emails, asking questions, also to Adam and Jeff and Josh and everybody at Inside the Birds. Thank you for this opportunities. All of our partners, thank you for everything that you do. The Patreon subscribers on Inside the Birds, thank all of you guys. All right, let's get right into it. All right, the Eagles win a close game in the final moments, 15-12. There was a bunch of questionable calls throughout the entire game. We went for it on fourth down. We went for it in field goal range. We went for it before the half. We went for it on the goal line. Went for it everywhere and didn't get many of them. Q, a lot of questionable play calls by Coach Nick Sirianni. What is your thought? Is everyone overreacting? Is this something that we should know that he just does? Should we accept it? What's your take on it?
I mean, this we all know he's gonna do it. And me and my son were watching the game, and as soon as the first fourth and one came up, I was like, he's gonna do it. And in my mind, like to me, I'm like, it's just in Madden. Like it literally feels like he's sitting at home on the controllers playing somebody in Madden. And when you play video games, you just don't want to give the ball back or you give them an opportunity
Yeah.
to score on you. That's what it feels like. And it's like, come on, man, have some confidence in your team. Have some confidence in your defense. They've been playing well all year. Well, not all year, but all game they've been playing well. It's not a bad thing to get 3 points. It's not a bad it just sometimes it just feels like he feels like it's a big letdown to get 3 points. That's huge in a close game. 3 points is huge, and it showed at the end of the game. You ended up winning by 3 points exactly. So I don't know. It was really frustrating. I'm tired of seeing it. Um, I I want to see it sometimes. You love the aggressiveness. You love having trust in your team, but sometimes it's okay to just take three. There's nothing wrong with that. That's my take.
Let me get a deep breath in here. Just be decisive. Just be decisive in this sense. Make it make sense to all of us. You can't just do stuff that puts yourself on an island, right? Let's look at it from this standpoint. You have been stripped of play calling duties. You have been given a Vic Fangio who is running all the plays. You really don't have anything to say on that side of the ball. So maybe in special teams and game management is the only place that you can affect the game. They're basically telling you that they don't want you to affect the game. And therefore, the management is one of the things that you can do to affect the game in a way that brings attention to yourself. Why don't you just be small sometimes? Sometimes. It doesn't have to be the Nick Sirianni show. And that's what it came to and at that game. You go for it once, okay, you go for it twice, we're not picking them up, but then you just keep going like you're stubborn when we need points, right? The defense is bailing you out over and over and over again. And remember, you owe it to the team in order to get points at certain times. And sometimes you got to die to your pride and your philosophy at times. And this is what I don't understand about the philosophy. Originally, it was 4th and 1. That was the philosophy. Now it's 4th and 4. It's 4th and 5. It's 4th and 6. Like, dude, there has to be some structure. Okay, get it close enough where it's 1.5, maybe 2. I understand. But when you're going for it on 4th and 4 and you're going for it before halftime with 14 seconds left, what are you going to do with no timeout? You're going to go for it. You're going to go for it, call the one timeout that you have, and then take one shot in the end zone, Jalen Hurts mess around throwing another interception. Or he gets sacked, and then you get no points again. Kick the field goal, especially in that situation. And then when you do decide to kick a field goal, you want to kick it from 60 yards. When your defense is playing lights out in a one-possession ball game where you're going to give the team an opportunity to go ahead and you have to go down with a miracle play with no Devontae Smith, no A.J. Brown, no Lane Johnson, no Mekhi Becton, and you put your team in that situation. The Eagles should have lost that ball game. They should have.
Absolutely.
And they should have lost the game because of the coaching. Not because the defense didn't play lights out. Because Jalen Carter was a man amongst boys in that game, that entire game. The tackling was much better. I saw Huff set the edge on the first play of the ball game. I knew we were going to have a good day.
Yep.
With all of that being said, you have to take responsibility and put your team in the best position. If it wasn't for Dennis Allen calling the dumbest call on 3rd and 16 for defense, the Eagles lose that ball game because you depended on Johnny Wilson, Paris Campbell, and Dallas Goedert, and you know, and that's about it. So he has to do a better job and make it make sense to this point. Make it 1.5. Everything else, punt or kick the field goal.
And you know what else was?
Go ahead.
No, go. What'd you say? The fans will live with it?
If you make it that clear to the fans, 4th and 1, we're going for it. 4th and 1.5, we're going for it. When you start getting on the 4th and 4, 4th and 3, 4, come on, man. And then you got a 4th and 1, and then you're not going to do the tush push. You're going to do some play over to the side. And Calcaterra got his ass kicked on that play. And you got Calcaterra on the strong side. He's been getting tossed up for all 3 games. If you're going to call a play like that, make it make sense. You put your weakest tight end, and Calcaterra is a good pass receiving tight end, but he can't block a soul. He's getting destroyed week in and week out on the tape. And Warner just put him back in the backfield. He had outside position. Warner took his leverage away so fast and was up the field. Like, if you're going to do that, put Goedert there or put somebody else in there. Put an extra lineman in the game. Something. But don't do that. You put your weakest tight end to the strongest. Where the play going? Come on, man. All right. Go ahead.
Wait, hold on. The other thing that really, really ticks me off, like I'm watching the game and I'm getting so mad at hearing this. The analytics add up. The analytics this, the analytics that. It hasn't worked yet. Like, how is the analytics still? Like, I don't know a lot about math, right? But I do know in math and all these equations, if you're expecting one result and you're not getting that result, that brings the math down. So how is it the analytics are still saying go for it in those situations instead of kicking the field goal? Like, we've talked about the nerd part of football for a while, all right? And this is where I start to get a little angry about the nerd part, because sometimes it just common sense, man. Sometimes old school, just be old school just one time and just see how it works out. And then the analytics will change. Now the analytics for the defense, like, oh, he going for it on 4th down, so we got another play coming up. We're going to be prepared for it anyway. So you're not surprising anybody. So it's just, I don't know.
Well,
change it up sometimes, man.
The analytics for this season should be saying kick the field goal.
Yeah.
For this season, for this team, it should be saying kick the field goal. And I understand what you're saying. And I agree with you. Here it is. 4th and 1, 4th and 1.5, 2. All right. But go with feeling too. Go with momentum too, right? Because that's the big part of the game. Go with momentum. Go with feeling. You know your team in this moment is not, is not, firing on all cylinders. So, he has to do something because he's putting himself in harm's way. And this is the thing. The ownership were trying to take you out of harm's way. They literally saved your job, gave you less of a role for management only, tried to give you less responsibility, and you still find yourself in the firing line. How does that work? It's like that. It's like that video of the sheep that's stuck in the gully, and the owner come take him out of the gully, and then he run down and jump right back into it. It's like, dude, why do I keep saving you? You're gonna go back into it. Okay, here we go. Let's go offense and defense, Q.
Okay.
All right, Q. Did the D line versus ATLs, like the swim fronts, what did you notice with the D line alignments this game against the Saints? Were they more effective this game? Like, I know they went 5-man front, all those things. Like, tell me about this game playing with the defensive line in comparison to Atlanta.
Yeah, I really I like the game plan from Fangio this week. He, the first play of the game, like you alluded to, they were in a bear front, and we saw one-on-ones across the board. We saw Huffs at the edge. Saw multiple different fronts. I saw a little bit of under front. We saw 4-man fronts in third down situations. And the thing that I really liked the most about the game plan is that it was a commitment. It was a commitment to stop the run on first and second down. And then when you got, let's talk about one of the first third down. I'm sorry, one of the first and second down situations. So we saw the bear front, and then with the under front, we had BG. He was head up. You had Davis. He was in the 2. You had Carter in the 2. You had Williams in the 4-eye. You had Brown on the weak side away from the slot in a tight 5. So basically, that's just different alignments for people that aren't really versed in that. But essentially what you're doing is you're creating a one-on-one across the board. And every one of those guys except Bond are all first-round draft picks, right? So you're basically saying we're going one-on-one, man-on-man, and my best players against your best players, and we're going to see who's going to win. And the defensive line, first and second down, especially in that first quarter, second quarter, they just kicked ass the entire first half. So I really love the mixing up, but I also love that Coach Fangio was committed to stopping the run. Like you said before, the guys got off blocks, they tackled well. You saw, secondary guys flying to the football. I saw Maddox, man. There actually was one play because they were in nickel front with this front that I just mentioned, and he was to the weak side or the receiver side, and they set to block him, and he shot up there, took on a block, set the edge, took care of his gap, and was able to turn the play back into the linebackers. And I hadn't seen that from him in terms of aggressive run play. Like, he's always been a good cover guy, but for him to come up as fast as he did and aggressive as he did against the run was awesome to see, man. And so I think they got the memo this week in practice. Like, hey,
they definitely got the memo this week. Yeah, Fangio is cursing people out 100%, right? Because Garner Johnson was down fast.
Yeah.
When the ball did break, it never broke past 10 yards until the second half. Like they had some opportunities where guys got reached on the edge, but either Dean or Garner Johnson was there to stop it at 6-7. You know what I mean? Rather than 10 or 12, 15 like it was happening the last week, and they were putting the ball down, and I was proud of that. I was like, okay, when they get edge, these guys are ready to get to make tackles. So it was good. It was really good.
No doubt. Yeah,
kept D-line play ended up keeping the linebackers clean. That's what you saw as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Kept the linebackers clean. I think I saw even 6 up one time. I had six D linemen on the field, and it kept the linebackers, able to flow to the ball. That's what they do. Dean's not a big run stopper type body. He needs somebody to cover him up, and he can run inside out and make plays. And Bond, he's very aggressive, in the run game, and he's a little bit more. He's got bigger size, but he's still athletic enough to make plays. And so it was good to see, man. That's the kind of football that I'm used to seeing. And I think that this will go a long way for this front. It'll go a long way for this defense, showing what they can do in the future.
Yeah, couple things. D line, Jalen Carter played his best game of the season. He was unblockable that entire game. It reminded me of Michigan versus Georgia when they beat us probably about 30 points down in Miami in like the Sugar Bowl or something like that, or the Orange Bowl a couple
Say
years
it
ago.
again. What happened? Say it again.
Oh, that was Jalen Carter. They kicked our butt down there. And the guard in that game, guess who it was? Cesar Ruiz. the guard for the guard for the Saints that Jalen Carter was kicking his butt the entire time. I was like, boy, that's a flashback for that dude. I think he got hurt on purpose because he left the game. I think that was one of those games. It was one of those games where he was whooping his tail so bad that the dude got injured. I didn't see how he got injured. All I know is he wouldn't come back in the game.
Say that boy
And
had the
Caesar,
phantom
and
injuries. Oh,
Caesar's my man too. I know him too, but I'm like, dude, he is out there getting. Which way did he go? Which way did he go? But Jalen played a really good game. He affected the game in so many ways. He got us off the field in the first couple of third downs with batted balls. He set a great, pin and pull, a TT stunt that caused Jordan Davis to get that sack. He did a great job. Quarterback pressures, sack, So he was balling pretty much the entire game.
yeah. Batted
Um,
balls.
Yeah, all of that. Now, Vic Fangio, and this is probably our last question here. Vic Fangio, cover two, still blitz sporadically, never a bunch of pressure, but blitzes sporadically. What do you view him? And I will say this is that his record versus the Shanahan coaching tree, that's what he was brought here for because of his record against that Kyle Shanahan, all of those guys that were in Washington with Mike and Clint Kubiak, Mike McDaniels, Sean McVay, Kyle. Like he does a good job versus those schemes. I wonder how much of that was predicated on that for this game and that. So what do you think of the job Fangio did? And I'm gonna ask you two questions in once. Brandon Graham also played twice as many snaps as Bryce Huff again. That's an old dude out there playing a lot of snaps. Do you think that's going to come back and bite us? So, two questions: Fangio
No.
and Brandon Graham.
Yeah, so for as far as Fangio is concerned, I like this game plan. And it's a great game plan against that Shanahan Kubiak tree. They're very known for making all their run game look the same, very known for running early, creating a lot of deep shots and looks off of, play action when their run game is doing well. So, to be able to come out and stop the run for a second down and basically load it up and play quote unquote bend don't break defense, take away the big play. That's the formula to beat this offense. As long as you are either even or you have the lead. If you're behind, that's when you have trouble against a Shanahan or a Kubiak type of offense. So I thought the game plan was phenomenal. I thought it was good. I don't mind because you can still like when I say for me as a defensive guy, when I say aggressive, it doesn't necessarily mean you just got to blitz. For me, aggressive is stuff like bare fronts, six mate fronts. Like we're gonna take away one thing and force you to be one dimensional, and then throw in occasional blitzes here and there. So in my opinion, I still think that was an aggressive style defense, and I liked it. As far as BG, man, he's the ageless wonder, man. He's gonna be good, man. He's a vet. He knows how to control his body. He knows how to take care of his body. And it's his last ride, man. He's gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. I love to see it. I wish I could still when I was his age. I sound
Still
I
can get
sound
after it.
old as hell.
Yeah,
When I was his age, I wasn't even thinking about playing no more. I was ready to be done. So, it's good for him. And um, you know, I think, like I said, this is his last year, so just let him ride it on out, man, and ride into the sunset. So he's gonna give it everything he's got. Bryce Huff, I guess we can talk about him a little bit later,
Oh,
but
good. No, that's good. This is like, go ahead, Bryce Huff.
so I will say this: the one thing about Bryce Huff, coming from a solid defense, um, they play a lot of cover three. Responsibility wise, you don't really have that much responsibility in his style of defense, which is why a lot of the defensive ends and the cornerbacks, um, and the safeties they look pretty successful. You're playing a cover three or you're playing cover two. Like it's very, very basic. Now, when you come to a team, and that's why I feel like a lot of players that come up in a system like that, when they go to other teams, they're not as successful is because they are not as well experienced in different techniques. Um, so for me, I think that's what we're seeing with Bryce Huff a little bit. He was able to just kind of cut loose and just play ball. Whereas in a Fangio system, you're going to have to take on blocks. You're going to have to understand how to, you know, how to leverage your body, how to leverage, blocks, certain blocks. You're going to see blocks coming from, you're going to have pullers. So it's just way more technical
Yeah,
in a
there's
Fangio
rules
style
and
defense.
there's rules and structure. You have to win within the structure, and if you're a person that's used to winning outside of the structure, it's going to be harder for you.
Absolutely. Hit the nail on
Yeah,
the head. That's exactly what I was trying to get to with so many words. And I think that's what we're seeing. And that's why he's playing slower. He's playing less aggressive. He doesn't seem as productive. And until he gets in and really starts to work on his craft, I don't think we're going to see him kind of grow to the level that the Eagles expected of him.
yeah. Right now is definitely a big disappointment because he still has no pressures, no sacks, and Brandon Graham is 107 years old, playing more snaps than you. It's not a good thing right now. So, um, yeah, not much. Our pass rush has to come from inside. We haven't seen much. Sweat did get he did get a quarterback pressure. I know he probably got a credit for that because it was like a TE, like late in that game where he wrapped inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he ended up getting a hand in his face, but nowhere near a sack. But yeah, our defensive ends need to do a better job. If our pressure isn't coming up the front, up the middle, we're not seeing as much of pressure. And another
Yeah.
thing too is that I thought the Saints had some creative pressures in order to get Jalen on the ground, and I thought that we can very easily implement them. They not
Mhm.
only brung multiple people up at the line of scrimmage to confuse the count, but they also like did stunts out of that, which is so hard to guard. It's so hard to defense, right? So you bring 5 or 6 people up the line of scrimmage and you don't know who's coming, and then they're doing a stunt off of it too. That's a nightmare for
Mhm.
offensive line, and they got home when that first blitz like that, and I was like, oh, that was creative. I was like, we should put something in like that to help us because right now, and then when we do
Yeah.
blitz, we get burned. When we do blitz,
Yeah.
they be piecing us up when we blitz. So yeah.
That
Um,
secondary, man. Yeah. Just because we blessed don't mean they gonna get there. Y'all better back up.
oh my gosh.
Uh,
Yo, let's get ready for the offense. Before we get ready for the offense, we're going to make sure that you guys know about the Inside the Birds Patreon channel Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Again, the Inside the Birds Patreon channel Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. They can sign up. You can sign up at patreon.com inside the birds. Sign up patreon.com inside the birds at Wednesday at 10 p.m. on Wednesdays. Again,
yeah,
inside the
and
birds Patreon channel. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna be a guest on it this Wednesday. So
Oh,
this
let's
Wednesday,
go.
10 o'clock Eastern, I will be on the Inside the Birds on Patreon.com. So I know it's gonna be a little late, but I'm over here on in the Northwest. But I will hop on, and if any of you Eagle fans, you have any type of questions or anything like that, you're interested in hearing from me, Make sure you log on and check it out, man. Love to see you guys. Love to hear your questions. So see you guys there.
Make sure y'all,
Okay.
yeah. Make sure you tune in and talk to my man Q. The guy should have had 3-4 Pro Bowls, but it was a names game. But we know we don't
there
see that.
were some very good safeties. I was competing
Yeah.
against. Take it. All right, topic 2. Let's talk about the offense. Okay. Saquon's his first carry didn't come until what, the end of the first quarter, second quarter. Do you think that they're not using him enough and early enough?
I thought Jalen had a few opportunities with the zone read that they could have gave him the ball early, but Jalen took it, and he's hadn't been good in his own read this year, for the most part. Like he's been good in scrambles, he's been good in, like design zone reruns hadn't been good. So with that being said, give the ball off to Saquon. So some of those they were in the game plan, but it just didn't get to Saquon. But they just said, forget the game plan. Let us just force it to him. And yeah, that should be our focal point. Saquon is our focal point. When you see a dude break out and the cornerbacks can't catch a running back,
Yeah.
them boys about to pull a hamstring. Marshawn Lattimore was full out hamstring about to burst open because that dude is explosive and it happens so fast and they can't get him. And that's rare. Just think about how many times you've seen a running back go 60 without help. You didn't see receivers out there blocking. There was no receivers blocking. They blitzed. They got him on the other side of that blitz. There was 2 defenders out there, and neither one of them could catch him. And that was really impressive. And yeah, he's a game changer. So you got to give him the ball as much as possible. I say him and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and you got Goedert too, but it's that Goedert did his thing this game too. But yeah, just talking about Saquon, they got to force it to him and take the option off of it for the quarterback to keep it. First of all, Jalen going horizontal is not good. He's good going straight. He looks slower going horizontal. Like horizontal, he looks like, I don't know, but make him go straight. Don't anything horizontal is not good right now.
Let me ask you a follow up regarding RPO stuff.
You've seen that too, right? You've seen that too.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, man,
it don't look good going horizontal.
You take it forever to get over there. Yeah. Let me ask you a follow up though about the RPO stuff. So what do you think it is that is causing Jalen to pull when he should be giving? Like, do you think the defenses are forcing it, or do you think that he's misreading it, or what do you?
Well, one of the times that they ran it, they had 2 off the same side, right?
Oh, okay.
And so he read the right guy, but it was 2 of them. So one of them is going to take Barkley, and they hit Barkley, and then the other dude hit him once he kept it. So like that was just the only thing you can do in that is get out of that play. Once you saw 2 off the edge and you know there's 2 defenders there, you're not gonna do it because you got 1 for each of you. The other one, if you're unsure, if you're 50-50 on it, get a ball. Matter of fact, the only way that you should keep the ball is if you know without a shadow of a doubt that it's going to be a negative play. Other than that, if it's 60-40, even if it's in your favor, give it to Saquon, because I would rather see him carry it because that's what he does, and he's that special. He's used to people being unblocked. You seen that lineup at the Giants the last couple of years? He's been taking on a lot of people. He can overcome one person. He's used to it. You know what I mean? He hadn't been able to get yards because he's been going against 1v5, 1 versus 5. Now you just ask him to go 1 or make 1 or 2 miss, Saquon. He's like, cool. I've been taking on 5 for the last 3 years. So in other words, hand the ball off. Yeah, and take yourself out of that equation. You saw that happened the other day with the Ravens. The Ravens, because Lamar Jackson likes the zone read, likes to be able to be a part of it. But what they did was is like Derrick Henry wasn't being as successful in that because he's not a horizontal guy. He
Yeah.
needs a head of steam, like Jalen Hurts needs a head of steam.
Yeah.
So they start putting him in the back and just giving him normal handoffs. They start putting him in an I formation
Oh,
like they used to do in the old
uh,
day, like he did in
okay.
Tennessee, and they couldn't do anything about it. Sometimes, even though you got Lamar Jackson, you got Jalen Hurts, and yeah, they're good runners, but you have to do what's best for the team and what's best for that particular player. And sometimes it's just handing the ball off to Saquon and take your
That's
fancy
right.
stuff off of
All
it.
right. Move it. Let's go to the next one. So let's talk about Dallas Goedert, man. He had a huge impact on this game. Um, do you
Yeah.
believe that this was a concentrated effort in the game plan to get him the ball? Yeah.
Well, let's look up his numbers. I know he had 170. He had 10 catches, 170. And the thing I like most about it is because usually when a guy has that many targets or that many catches, right, you think he's going to have 15, 16 targets. No, Jalen threw the ball to him 11 times. He caught 10 of them. That's a great game by Dallas. And what Dallas showed me was because I began to doubt it, and it's part of the route tree too. He had a lot of crossers,
Mhm.
right? He had a lot of shallows. He had some deep overs. He had a circle post that they threw backside to him. He had a few of those, and he got in rhythm. And let me tell you what happened at the beginning of the game. First couple plays of the game, screen to Dallas, another screen to him, check down here and there. That gets the player into the game. Gets the player into the game. Now his confidence is up, and then nobody on their team could guard him when it came to their safeties and their linebackers. They couldn't stay with him because he was stair stepping stuff. When he's on the move, he's great. The stopping stuff is where he struggles a little bit. But when he was on the
Yeah.
move for his deep cross, he stair stepped it and got open on his circle post. He took his time, turned Siren Matthew around, threw it back. Jalen with the dime for that one, shallow cross at the end of the game. He just ran across the field. Great screen that the receiver did. But there was another play on the right sideline that he had. I think it was either a corner or a go route or something he had on that side. But ended up beating Tyrann Mathieu and shaking free. He's always been a great yards at the catch tight end. So he showed me a little bit of something with his man wiggle this week, right? Because a lot of these were man-to-man coverage, and he broke through on it. He hadn't been able to get open on man like that consistently, but in this game, and I think it was because they were doing off man, kind of helps you a little bit because you got to run the
Yeah.
start. He still was patient and he still took his time and got open, got uncovered. So I was impressed with Dallas Goedert, and he basically saved the game for us because you didn't have Devontae anymore after that dirty hit. That was a dirty hit. The referee should have blown a whistle a long time ago, and that dude should be fine. And if Derwin James can get kicked out of a game for a dude running with the ball, which is you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that is despicable. That's
Yeah.
despicable. If Derwin James can get kicked out a game for hitting a dude that has a chance to defend himself because he's running with the ball, he's not defenseless. You got to be a horrible athlete to let a dude get that good a shot on you in space. Dude, get down. Like, what are you doing? And for him
Yeah.
to get that hit, like you're punishing the wrong person for that. You should be punishing the tight end for being that bad of an athlete.
I agree.
I digress and I went on a tangent, but ultimately the dude should have been kicked out of the game that was that hit Devontae Smith. But Dallas Goedert saved us the game, and that 3rd and 16. Q, can you explain that 3rd and 16 for me? Because you got to explain
Bro,
that one.
I had to
I,
look at it twice because I was like, I know I didn't see what I just saw. I mean, just to me, that was straight hubris of Dennis Allen to call a man coverage in that situation. 3rd and 16, 3rd and 16,
no,
and
so
you're in a which one are you talking about?
So tell them, Q, in 3rd and 16, why you
Mhm.
should be in zone coverage and why you shouldn't be in man. And if you're in man, you're not in that type of man.
Yeah. So if it's obviously third and long, so there's so much that can happen third and long. Um, First of all, it's 4 down territory, right? So if you're in a zone, not it's not a given that a team is gonna just throw the ball. They might just run a straight draw. They might run a screen. They might run something like that, right? So maybe that's what he was thinking. But a man situation in a 3rd and long, you got everybody in the back end is eyes on their coverage. So if something does break down, if something doesn't go the way you're supposed to plan, you always have the kind of like the catch-all safety net of zone eyes. You got guys dropping to their area, and if something doesn't go perfectly, you can at least have maybe someone that's dropped to a curl flat or in a hook curl that maybe they can come over and help you, make the tackle. So instead of it being, you know, first down, maybe it's 4th and 8 or something like that. Another manageable situation. Okay. But to go in a man coverage, which it was a
It
type
was a
of a robber
robber.
coverage
It
where
was a robber cut.
with with the safety dropping down, cutting the crosser, that is to me, that is the dumbest coverage that you could have ever played in that situation. Game on the line. You know that there's literally no chance for this team to come back. Is all you got to do is just keep everybody in front and make the tackle, and you win the game. To call it man coverage in that is almost as bad as going forward in 4th and 1. The same call that Sirianni made. I mean, I think that that was the dumbest thing. And then, like I said, I had to actually go back and rewatch it again because I couldn't believe that he actually called a man coverage in that situation with a tight end that's been whooping your ass all game with aging safety that's, I didn't even realize that Honey Badger was still playing. He's about 15 years deep. So I don't know. The whole thing from top to bottom was just a terrible call. And to me, it was just hubris. It was just a coach thinking that he was so much smarter than everyone else that he would be able to figure out that, break the cheat code. So I don't know.
Yeah,
That's just the way I
that
look at
that
it.
that call saved Nick Sirianni from an onslaught of angry, mob-like Philadelphia Eagles fans. If it wasn't for Dennis Allen calling that call, I was like, did he? I was thrown back. Like I was like, I know he. I'm not seeing what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
I was like, out of all the coverages that are in your Rolodex and all the plays, you call that one in that situation where it's easy, where the receiver did a great job. I can't remember who it was, but whoever was running left to right over there, he did a great job of avoiding Dallas's man and also getting in between the cut guy. He was
Mm,
able to get them to run to each other because there's 3 people in there.
yeah.
And that's why you don't do it, because man to man, all you gotta do is run interference with somebody and somebody can't get through. That's why you need the zone, so you can have 7 eyes that's looking at
Hmm.
people so they can be able to rally to the football. But it caused us to win the game. So thank you, Dennis Allen. But no, you know who should be thanking you? Who should be sending you a fruitcake, some cheesecake, some cheesesteak, or something? Is Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni should be sending you a welcome, thank you basket with all of the Philadelphia favorites in there. Some pretzels,
Cream
some
cheese,
water ice,
water
you know,
ice,
yeah, some
some
all of
pork,
that.
some pork roll.
Oh my gosh, because I can only imagine the fans if we would have lost that game. They're pissed right now and we won. Can you imagine if we would have
Mhm.
lost that game? Oh my gosh, that would have been crazy. All
It
right,
did.
that would have been crazy. Um, yeah, that was insane, and so we kind of broke that one down.
Can you break down the interception that Jalen threw to Devontae Smith in the back of the end zone first half? Um,
Yeah, so let
what did
me.
he see there, man? What was he thinking right there? Sorry.
So I'll explain this coverage, right? So they had a post route, like a bang eight from the inside, and they were matching up. They put him in a reduced split, and they knew that they would have one-on-one-ish coverage against Tyrann Mathieu. But remember, Tyrann Mathieu's in cover 4. What's the rules in cover 4, Q? You can't get beware.
Across your
Inside.
face.
You can't get beat across your face. Inside. So Devontae Smith went up. Everybody think that's a Jalen Hurts throw thing. It wasn't a Jalen Hurts throw thing. You have to know your personnel, and you have to know the other team's personnel, your opponent's personnel. A veteran player like Tyrann Mathieu, no matter what you give him, he's not going to give up his leverage. No matter what you give him, like you can beat him, but you will not beat him on the opposite side of his leverage. That's why he's in the league so long.
Mm-hmm.
You can beat him, but you're going to beat him on what can beat him on that play is like a corner stop. Something like that'll beat him, but you're not going to beat him across his face. And so, or at least not cleanly. So Devontae Smith, he ran straight and he did this gigantic Justin Jefferson rocker step. He takes one step to the corner and then he comes back to the post. When you take that big step outside of your body, if you guys can do it at home, take a big step outside of your body, you cannot transition flat anymore because you're outside of the framework of your body. So now you have to take another step to reduce and get flat so you can cut across the safety's face. So what Devontae Smith did was do too big of a move, which he was outside of the framework of his body, out of control, which caused there to be a cut lane for Tyrann Mathieu. I love the play call, but knowing the player and knowing the situation and the play, what he should have just did was get on the other side of the hook defender, go right past him, and then just speed cut it in there without all the moves. Now Tyrann doesn't have time to anticipate anything because you're basically cutting as soon as you get past the inside back, the outside backer there, the hook defender, you're cutting right across his face. And now you're not outside of the framework of your body. It's a 50-50 chance now, but there is no chance for him to intercept that ball. He may break it up with a hard heartbeat, but you're going to be on the right side of his body. You just have to make a tough catch. That's the only way that can work in that situation. But that was a route and detail thing by Devontae Smith. I don't blame Devontae Smith for it because most safety is going to take that big move that you gave him, but not Honey Badger because that's what he is. He's been there for so long, and you got to know in those situations who's going to take the moves and who doesn't. And you can see that on film. You can see that on film. Does this guy give up his leverage? Does he not? Does this safety, I can get him with a move? I can't. And you go by that. It reminded me a couple years ago, Justin Jefferson did this gigantic long move against Slay in the red zone. And Slay just looked at him like he was stupid because he was inside leverage and picked it. It was the same exact thing, but one was from the inside, one was from the outside. And that's what you got to know who you're playing against. But that was definitely on Devontae Smith. He could have did less of a move, shaved it in there, and it would have been an incompletion. The other thing that Jalen can do, the only thing I say Jalen could have did better, when you're throwing in the end zone, they were in the front to the middle of the end zone. When you're throwing there, you want to miss low. And you want to miss low for that purpose and that reason. So you want to throw the ball not ankles, but knees and below so you can give yourself a chance just in case the dude does that. Now it's a harder catch for the defender, and it's a tough catch for your guy. But you don't want to miss mid because even if Devontae cuts across his face and they get there at the same time and it's a collision, the ball pops in the air, the other safety picks it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that play in a nutshell, but it wasn't Jalen Hurts' fault. He could have thrown the ball lower, but he trusted his guy in that situation. Devontae was working. It wasn't an effort thing. It was just a bad technique thing and not knowing his personnel of the opposite team thing.
But so I'm with you on that. So Dotson was on a speed out open, and then the check down to Goedert was open. He didn't have to throw that one.
He didn't have
right?
to throw. I'm throwing that, John. Though that was. I'm throwing that. I'm throwing that because you've practiced all week for cover four, and you know why I'm throwing that. The outside backer did a horrible job of rerouting Devontae Smith. He got a clean like look. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking that either the safety's going to go for this move because Devontae probably did it in practice, like, oh, I'm gonna hit him with this move right here, and James like, cool, that's it right there. But Honey Badger's like, man, yeah, all right, if I'm giving up this inside, I'm not giving up. And that's what you do. That's how you stay in the league. You stay in the league a long time by doing your assignment. If your assignment is not to get beat across your face, he's not going to get beat across his face. That's why he's there. You become great by doing the little things over and over again. And that was just a good job. He's a ball hawk, but I'm throwing that every time, Q. I don't care who's open. That right there, I'm throwing it. I'm throwing it. Now, I hope my receiver do a better job. Could I place the ball a little bit better? Yeah, but I'm throwing that. I'm not turning down that touchdown. I'm not, because I'm thinking he's gonna get across his face and check Devontae Smith is like this. I got to get across his face on that. And Jalen's body language. You know, Jalen usually when it's his fault, he go to the sideline and he's like dejected. He's like looking like he does when everything is good. He's like, but in that situation, he jumped up in the air. Was like, oh, because he knows Javante screwed him on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And
Yeah.
you say Honey Badger is smart, and I agree with you. But at the end of the game, he's trying to fight Jalen Carter. I don't know if that's the smartest thing to do. Did you see that at the end of the game?
At the end of the game, he's trying. No, I didn't see it. I didn't see that.
Man, oh, you got to go back and watch this.
I'm gonna pull it up.
I'm
I'll
like,
pull it up.
hey, Honey Badger, I know that's your city, but let's be smart, man.
Yeah, well, you got that. You got that. You fight when there's a bunch of your friends around and somebody gonna break it up. Yeah, but you show
Oh,
yourself in his yard. That's it right there. Hey, you
oh
guys, we
man.
always appreciate you tuning in to the Q&A show. Thank you to Inside the Birds, to Adam and Jeff and everyone. We love breaking down the game for you guys. Make sure that you email your questions to insidethebirds@gmail.com. Also, remember, this Wednesday, you're going to see my main man Q on the Patreon channel. Make sure that you guys are tuning into that. That is patreon.com/Inside the Birds, patreon.com/Inside the Birds, Wednesday night at 10 p.m. And you guys have a great week. Go Birds down in Tampa. We have not done well down there, so let's see if we can right the wrongs from the past. Peace out. Q, you got the last word.
As always, man, much appreciated. I always enjoy our time, man. It's always therapeutic. It's great times. Love to talk birds. Um, and yeah, it would be our luck that the Bucks got their butts whooped last week. So now they're gonna be angry. They're gonna work, they're gonna practice extra hard. So it's gonna be tough. But see you guys next week. Much love.